Hello lovelies, welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to be talking about 15 ways to live like Audrey Hepburn in 2020. So Audrey Hepburn is one of my favorite old Hollywood actresses, and I would consider her to be an incredible style icon, and her inspiration is still very powerful today. So the first tip to live like Audrey Hepburn in 2020 is wear pearls. A pair of her classic earrings with the cutest retro screw clip back went up for auction recently, and you can also get similar ones online, and she just loved the classic look of a pearl earring and necklace, which is a very nice vintage look, which I think could still work today. And the next tip to live like Audrey Hepburn in 2020 is wear headscarves or a little scarf around your neck. And Audrey Hepburn once said, "When I wear a silk scarf, I never feel so definitely like a woman, a beautiful woman." And she loved silk Hermes scarves, and there's many photos of her wearing them around her head, and she wore them with cool cat eye sunglasses, and there's also photos of her wearing cute little silk scarves around her neck. And tip number 3 to live like Audrey Hepburn in 2020 is use baskets as a purse. If you Google Audrey Hepburn baskets, you will see tons of photos of her wearing these cute little baskets with her outfits, and she makes them look so chic and timeless, and I just love the look of them, especially in the summertime, and I just think it's such a cute look. And there's lots of vintage basket type purses that you can buy on eBay and Etsy. And tip number 4 to live like Audrey Hepburn in 2020 is wear her famous Givenchy perfume. And this one was designed specifically for Audrey Hepburn, and it has notes of orange blossom, jasmine, and tuberose. And this one came out in 1957 and became her signature fragrance, and I just love the scent of this one. It smells so good. And tip number 5 is buy White Tulips. So Audrey Hepburn loved tulips, and her favorite was the white tulip. During World War II, Audrey's family had to survive German occupation, including its accompanying lack of food. Tulip bulbs became an unexpected source of food, and she also had a white tulip named for her. And tip number 6 is use Erno Laszlo products. So Audrey Hepburn loved the Erno Laszlo charcoal cleansing soap, and she says, "I owe 50% of my beauty to my mother and the other 50% to Erno Laszlo." And she also loved their Formula 3-9 cream. And tip number 7 to live like Audrey Hepburn in 2020 is eat spaghetti al pomodoro. And she loved this dish, and she reportedly ate it every week. And in her cookbook, Audrey at Home, there's a recipe for this pasta dish, and you can see numerous photos of her eating this dish. And tip number 8 is use Philip Kingsley Elasticizer. So this hair conditioning treatment was actually designed for Audrey Hepburn, I believe in the late 1960s, early 70s. And she fell in love with this treatment and got large tubs of it shipped to her regularly, and it's a really good pre-wash treatment for a very dry hair that needs extra conditioning. And you leave it on for 10 to 20 minutes before you rinse it out and wash your hair. And tip number 9 to live like Audrey Hepburn in 2020 is read the book The Secret Garden. Hepburn said that the English childhood classic The Secret Garden was one of her favorite stories. I remember seeing the movie, I think it came out in the 90s, and I think it's a really good movie, so I'd also love to read the book. And tip number 10 to live like Audrey Hepburn in 2020 is get a pet fawn. Audrey was known for her love of animals, especially her pet Yorkie, Mr. Famous, but her most interesting pet was when she took in a fawn and named him Pippin. When she was making her 1959 film Green Mansions, the animal trainer on the set suggested that she take her on-screen sidekick, a baby deer, home with her so that he would learn to follow her. And the fawn became completely docile, and she would even take him to the supermarket in Beverly Hills, as you can see in these old photos. I always see fawns around my house during springtime, and I always sometimes think about taking one in as a pet. Obviously I won't, but I think they're so cute. And tip number 11 is wear the color cyan blue. So Audrey Hepburn loved this shade of light blue, and it was her favorite color besides black. And as you can see in old photos, there's many pictures of her wearing this color blue, and it's a really beautiful blue in my opinion. And tip number 12 is wear ballet flats. So as you know, Audrey Hepburn has a very classic style, and there's numerous photos of her wearing black ballet flats, and she really pulls off this look. And I think black ballet flats are such a classic style that are timeless and you can still wear today. And tip number 13 to live like Audrey Hepburn in 2020 is wear a black turtleneck and cropped black pants. And as you can see in many photos, Audrey Hepburn always had that black turtleneck and the tight fitting black pants. And they kind of remind me of a ballerina when she wore them with her ballet flats. And this is a very classic look that you could still wear today. And tip number 14 is drink 4 cups of coffee a day and eat flourless chocolate cake. So Audrey Hepburn loved coffee. She would drink 3 to 4 cups a day, and her favorite cake recipe was flourless chocolate cake, and the recipe is in the book Audrey at Home. And tip number 15 is wear a classic 1950s inspired black bag, and you can see in numerous photos Audrey Hepburn wearing this classic style bag. It kind of has a short little handle and it's very 1950s looking. And I also have a vintage inspired Audrey Hepburn bag that's featured here, and I'll also link that below. And bonus tip number 16 is wear an Audrey Hepburn inspired lipstick. So Vintage Doll Cosmetics has a really nice coral pink lipstick shade inspired by the film Breakfast at Tiffany's, and it's swatched from film stills, and it's a very accurate rendition of the lipstick that she wore in the film. And I'm wearing it right now, and it's a really nice classic coral pink shade. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know if you'd be willing to try any of these vintage inspired tips and who you want me to do next. All right, I'll see you guys again soon. Bye.